cars. Yes, ma'am. You are so smart. Anybody happen to know? I'm like, oh, name this song from the 70s. From the 70s. Oh, Rosie knows. There we go. Name this song from the 70s. Black Eyed Peas. See what I did? So hot it hurts.
Peace up, A-Town. Yeah.
All right. How about somebody know the name of? Oh, you were probably in the first grade, maybe in kindergarten when this came out. Maybe you remember it. Who sings it? Looking for the name of the group who sings it.
Yo, tell me what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you.
So what we want to do is we want to try to change your default. But in order for you to change it, you got to notice it. So Simon says the game has begun. In order for you to play the game, I need you to stand up. So go ahead and stand up. If you're standing up right now, you can have a seat. You're out of the game. You're out. You're out. You're out. Some of you are sitting there. Some of you are like, okay. You know what? I appreciate that you stood up, so I'm going to give you another chance. Simon says you're all back in the game. Simon says you wouldn't have stood up if you wouldn't have had a great attitude. I appreciate that. Simon says you're all in. Simon says stand up. Simon says clap once. Simon says clap twice. Simon says hands on your hips. Simon says listen closely. Simon says remember, as soon as you go out of the game, Simon says just notice what your default is. Your usual. Simon says notice your usual setting. Simon says for some of you it'll be shame, for some of you it'll be blame, some of you freak out, some of you deny, some of you quit. Simon says clap once. Simon says clap twice. Hands up. Oh. Simon says hands up. Simon says hands down. Simon says hands on your hips. Simon says look to the right. Simon says look to the left. Simon says look at me. Simon says clap once. Clap twice. Simon says clap twice. Freak out. Simon says, you get really mad. You get angry. You just get so angry. You just Let me ask you a question. Is there some energy in this bottle right now? Is there? Yes or no? So how many of you have ever been so mad at somebody that you felt like the contents of this bottle? How many have ever been in that place? And so what I'm asking, if I were to open this, would it make a mess? Yes or no? Would it make a mess? Yes. If I opened it and it did make a mess, would I ever be able to put it back to where it was? No. Please hear me. When you freak out on one of your teammates in this room, you'll never be able to put it back to the way it was. Relationships are about trust. But if I think you're going to get so mad, so angry that you're just going to freak out on me, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be honest with you. Think about it. If every day I come in and I freak out on you because of something that you did wrong, after a while, wouldn't you quit being honest with me so I wouldn't freak out? Yeah, because it's like, dude, I'm done with you. So I'm not going to be totally honest with you. Let me ask you a question. How many of you would rather have the honest truth told to you, even if the honest truth hurt a little bit? You would, right? But when you freak out on people, you teach them not to give you the honest truth. So in essence, if you're somebody that's always freaking out on somebody, here's what I can guarantee you. You're always living in a lie. People won't be honest with you. Why? Because they're afraid you're going to make a mess. So the question you have to ask yourself is this. As a leader, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be one of these? Or do you want to be one of these? Do you want to be one of these? Always freaking out on people, always building up, always wanting to explode, always getting mad? Or do you want to be one of these? If you ask me which one I want to be, the choice is clear. Mind map. Look, with the main idea in the center and with the mind map, because the mind works in pictures, we will work in pictures. This is a powerful tool to allow you to sort ideas, to brainstorm, to plan, to use, to take class notes, and to be creative. So if you have an idea, if I was going to do a speech on goal setting, I would put the main idea right in the center. So the next question is, what are the uses for a mind map? So I'm going to put up here, I'm going to pull a branch right up here, and I'm going to do uses. So I'm coming off my main idea. I'm going to use one way that you can use a mind map is you can use it to organize. Now, here's what I want to point out, is that mind mapping requires you to make pictures, but it does not require you to be an artist. Okay? Now, that to me is a picture of a file cabinet. It only has to make sense to me. Are you guys following me? Another use for a mind map is you can use it to brainstorm. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a picture of a brain, right? And I'm going to draw a storm, right? So with the mind map, I can use it to brainstorm. So always, every time you put an idea, you want to put a picture. Check this out. The picture solidifies the idea in your brain. That's what pictures do. They solidify the idea in your brain. Another use for mind mapping is you can use it to take notes. Notes on a project, notes on something that you're working on, or notes on something that you're being creative with. So this is a number 2 pencil. This is a piece of paper. It only has to make sense to me. 3 possible uses of a mind map. Some of you might be asking, well, wait a second. How do I do it? Well, there's really no wrong way to mind map, but is this one of the, yeah, it's right. So there's another mind map is how. So I'm going to pull off here another branch. This is just like a piece of paper, and I'm going to put how. How do you do it? Well, I've already taught you. Based upon what you've learned already, what do you see? What do you see about how? What?
Draw pictures.
Draw pictures. So we use pics. So I'm going to draw a picture of a picture, right? Right? Okay, what else? Pics. So I'm going to put pics. Good. What else? What else? Based upon what you see, how do you do it? What? Think main idea in the what? Center. Right? So I'm going to put main idea in the center. We draw a target. Main idea center. Okay. Anything else? Here's a little tip for you. I try to use all caps. Sometimes I catch myself because I'm usually more legible in all caps. And so that's the picture of all caps. Good. Main idea center. Picture. Oh, here we go. A little tip for you. 1 color per branch. Why? Because it helps our mind sort it. 1 color per branch. So I'm going to put a little rainbow there. This is my picture for the picture. 1 all caps. Main idea in the center. Use pictures. Branches. There we go. Here we go. Results. For me, the results for a mind map were this. When I was in college, I started doing mind maps. The results for me is I went from C's and D's to A's and B's, plus, that's a report card, so better grades. For also, the results for me was stronger, strong, you see what that is? That's weights, strong recall. Last, so better grades, stronger recall, and I started to get more, for me, results, started to get more creative. The recall, to remember things, there were 3, even though you didn't do the map, I did the map. Even though you saw there were 3 pictures up in this upper right-hand corner. What were the 3 pictures up here? What were they? There were 3 of them. Were they? Yeah, it was uses, and what was it? Filing cabinet, what else? Brainstorm, what else? Pencil, piece of paper. What were the items down here in this one?
You being creative.
Me being creative.
The weights.
The weights. The strong. That was up here. Up here. Weights. Me being creative. What else? Better grades. Right. What were some of the pictures down here? Main center. What else? 1 color per branch. Rainbow. What else? All caps. And here's what's really cool. You didn't do the map. Yet you could have done 100% recall on it, and you weren't even that involved in it. That's the power of a mind map. It works the way your mind map works. Here's what I want you to do. When I say go, you're going to go to your station, and you're going to spend 5 minutes at your station. You're going to get out a blank sheet of paper, and you're going to put in the center of that main blank sheet of paper. You're going to put what do we want to call today, Rosie? What do we want to call today? What's today called?
It's Bill Cordes Day.
Bill Cordes Day. Let's call it Boot Camp Day 1. Okay? Can we call it Boot Camp Day 1?
That's great.
Okay.
This is perfect.
So Boot Camp Day 1, and on Boot Camp Day 1, I want you to create a mind map of all the concepts that we talked about so far. Now here's what's really cool. Oh, you're going to get a blank sheet of paper now. If you don't have colored markers, that's fine. We'll just for today. Well, we do have colored markers. We got them all right here. So get your colored markers. Listen, picture a rabbit. Picture a rabbit. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Tell me what you saw. Raise your hand. Tell me what you see. Bugs Bunny. Good. What'd you see? Bugs Bunny. What'd you see? Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. What'd you see? Brown rabbit. What'd you see? The Trix rabbit, the one on the cereal box. There we go. What'd you see?
South Park.
South Park rabbit. Very good. Hey, How many of you saw, did anybody see the letters R-A-B-B-I-T? Some people do. Now listen, if you did, it doesn't mean mind mapping is not for you. It just means that you're probably, you think more in words. But even though you do think in words, we all think mostly in picture. The television on your screen of your mind is right in front of you. Let's pretend it's right in front of you. There we go. You see it? Point on the television screen of your mind where the rabbit was. Ready? Go. Point at it. Point at it. For most of you, is that even though we can really only focus on one thing at a time, when we're being creative, other stuff gets in. So, as you did throughout the day, we played a little bit of Name That Tune. Choices that you make during the next 4 to 5 years. Some people during this 45 years make stupid choices. Some people maximize this time. Some we talked about they try to convince the negative 10% to be positive. Now, once you focus on the 80, you gain something called momentum. 80% of the people in our culture and live above the line have the ability to respond. Yes, you're going to fail. Colonel Sanders had 1,009 no's before he got his first yes. 3M. 3M was the result of a super strong glue. But as you go through the year, you want to think about mapping concepts in your history class. You're sitting there and you're going, oh yeah, I made the picture of the guy shooting the guy off the ship. Oh yeah, Boston Tea Party, right? Or whatever it is. So make that, as you're working on trying to create pictures, working on recall in the morning, both the colors, the creativity, all the stuff you learned in kindergarten, that stuff is mixing both sides of the brain, You're sitting there and you're going, oh yeah, I made the picture of the guy shooting the guy off the ship. Oh yeah, Boston Tea Party, right? Or whatever it is. So make that, as you're working on trying to create pictures, working on recall in the morning, both the colors, the creativity, all the stuff you learned in kindergarten, that stuff is mixing both sides of the brain, solidify. So I have certain songs, certain